All right, so good morning everyone. My name's Mark from Yamaha. For those of you who haven't met me before, so today we're just going to talk about some unified communication stuff. So from what I understand, you guys are getting more and more inquiries about this kind of range, and some of these products you've already got in stock as well, which is great. So hopefully we'll get a bit of a better understanding for everyone on what they are and what they can do. And yeah, if you've got any questions along the way, please let me know. So essentially in the Yamaha range of unified communications, we've got three product families. So the top range of them all is our ADECIA range, and that comprises of three different ranges of microphones. So we've got a ceiling mounted microphone, which is that big square in the side there. There's also tabletop, wired tabletop microphones, which is the little round one with the big green ring on it. And just new to the range is all of our wireless microphones, which we've got here for us, so we can have a bit of a touch and play with those. There's also the speakerphone range, which you guys should be familiar with. I think you've got a couple of those models in stock, which are basically USB plug and play microphone speakers for online meetings, and then video collaboration. So these new video soundbars, which have not been with us that long. I think late last year we finally got the CS800 and the CS500, which is the smaller version. It's been with us for a few months more than that. So I'm going to start this morning off with our video collaboration. So two soundbars, and that little round circle down the bottom there is our dual-sided remote control, which is very handy, and I'll get into a bit of what that can do for you in a second. So starting off with the CS500, so $899.99 retail price, is a 4K camera with smart framing, and we'll have a bit of a look at what the smart framing means in a minute. Hexa microphone beamforming, which is what we're calling it. So it's basically 6 microphone elements. It's hard to see on that image on the screen. I don't have some great contrast, but if we look at the physical unit, you'll actually be able to see an arrangement of little dots. Those are actually your microphone elements in behind the camera. And it uses those 6 microphones to focus in on a particular person speaking, so it can move in 3-dimensional space. So you've got left, right, up, down, backwards and forwards as well. So it uses that to pick up the person speaking as clearly as possible. USB display link, which is actually what I'm using right now. So single USB cable into my laptop, and I'm sharing my video to the display over here. That can be set up like any other external monitor, so whether you're duplicating or extending your displays. I'm extending in presentation mode at the moment, and that also then transmits your audio data and video data for your online meeting software as well. And then we've got camera tracking and fixed presets as well that we can do, and we can set all that up with the menu. HDMI audio and video with CEC into the panel. So one of the things the cameras will do is pick up motion in the room, and they'll automatically turn the TV on and set it to the right input for what the bar's plugged into. So that's on both models, and also after some inactivity. So if it can't detect any people in the room, it will turn the TV off as well. So it really makes it simple plug and play for running meetings. And as I mentioned, we've got this dual-sided remote. So the big button on the top is just your mute, and you'll see it comes on, mute off as I press that, and that's sort of like your default side to the remote control, and we can get into some of the more juicy functions on that in a second. So CS800 is basically the same deal, so same 4K camera in it, same image sensor, same microphone arrangement, USB display link, but this time we've got a built-in speaker, so it's an all-in-one device. So where the CS500, you would use that either with an existing built-in sound system in the room or the speakers in the panel. The CS800 is standalone, so it's got its own speaker in there as well. And they all share the same smart framing and the USB display link as well. So really the only difference is just built-in speaker, non-built-in speaker. There's a few different accessories in the box. So the CS800 comes with a wall mount. It's also got the tabletop stand, which we've got on this guy here, which gives you some angle adjustment. Then we do also have some accessories that you can get for them. So there's a wall mount for the CS500, and there's also a TV mount bracket, which is compatible with both models. Then also, being that they are USB display link, we've got high quality 10 and 25 meter optical USB extension cables. So they're certified 10 gigabits USB Gen 3. So that you can get your display link to work reliably. So with these, we do recommend that you go direct from device to device, so don't go through wall plates or anything like that. And yeah, if you need longer runs, the additional cables are available. So what we're going to have a bit of a look at is SoundCap I, phase focus beamforming, and smart framing. So these are kind of the defining features of this soundbar. So SoundCap I is the first one. It's using the microphone pickup and the image off the camera, so using both of the information from both of those to detect people that are actually speaking in the room to reduce your background noise. So you can actually use these in open meeting areas where there's a lot of background noise and other distractions without that actually interfering on the meeting. And we can set up a specific size of the area you want the unit to pick up on. So that in conjunction with the phase focus beamforming. So essentially what that means is it can detect faces, it can detect speech, but if it detects speech that's not attached to a face, it won't pick that up. So we'll only attach the microphone to a person speaking that it can see. And a really good example of that is if there's somebody near the meeting space that the microphone can hear, but it can't see them, or they're not facing the same direction, or they're outside the pickup zone that you specify, it won't listen to that person. And I actually do have a demo video, and I forgot to connect my laptop to the Wi-Fi, so it's probably not going to work. So I'm going to do that while I go through some of these other things, just so we can have a look at how that works in real time. So bear with me a second, because that's going to be my next slide. I'll get that set up, and we'll have a look at the setup menu as well. So this will give us an idea of what it looks like. So this is the menu off the camera, and you can see, just like your digital cameras, it's picking up faces on the display there. So a little green box for all the faces it can see. So essentially I can define my meeting area. So I've got the horizontal angle, I can change that down. So as it starts narrowing the angle, you'll see those little green squares disappear. So you can define how wide of an area you want the unit to pick up, and then also how deep. So the maximum range that the unit will pick up is 6 meters. In terms of the microphone, the maximum distance it will detect a face is at 4.5. So you can actually bring that down a little bit. So as it gets narrower, you'll see we've got some yellow squares there signifying that you're right on the barrier of that 3 meters. And as we come under that to 2.5, they disappear. So if you're talking and you don't have a square in your head, the microphone's not going to pick you up. So you can tell it basically who to listen to and who not to listen to, which can be handy in some meetings. So as we get a bit wider, so we'll go back to the default. So that's the meeting area general setup. We do have our smart framing option as well. So you've got the option for either group, speaker tracking, so the camera will dynamically pan to the person who's actively speaking. It's probably going to be a bit tricky for it because I'm right over here on the side. It does also have an individual mode, so it will pick the most important person in the room and it's going to focus on them, and it'll just stay on that person. So usually you make that the boss, so sorry Danny, it didn't pick you. So with the group set option, for example, if you've got a meeting room and all the seats aren't filled, it will actually try and give you the best framing to capture all the people in the room. So it will dynamically figure out how many people are in the room and frame them for you. The speaker tracking is quite good as well. So again, you get full frame focus on an individual person as they're speaking. As someone else talks, it will move over to them automatically. We can also then set up 2 fixed preset zoom and pan levels, and you've got a recall button here on the remote, so you've got a 1 and a 2. So you can zoom in and pan around, which we can do now. So if I zoom in, I'm having trouble with my remote this morning. So here we go, we zoom in, and then we can also pan as well. So we can set a particular preset. So then when we hit the button 1, it will recall that. So if you've got a couple of common configurations you generally use in your meeting room, so you might have a full meeting room and only half a meeting room, you can have those set up as a couple of different presets as well. Moving along. So that's your second preset, which is the same. So our microphone setup, so we've got the phase focus beamforming, which we can turn either on or off. And then we've also got the self-silence. So self-silence effectively means that if there's no one in the room that it detects speaking, it will basically not send any output to the far end. So it doesn't show up that the microphone's muted, but you're effectively muted. So spurious noise and things like that doesn't get transmitted to the other end, which is really helpful, again, just for removing as much background noise and distraction as possible. So with the face focus beamforming, it is limited to a depth of 3 meters. So that's not to be confused with setting our default meeting room size. So our meeting room size is one thing, but if we want to use face focus beamforming, we are limited to a 3 meter depth. And so again, that's the technology that uses the camera and the microphone information to remove as much background noise as possible. Hopefully on my next slide, the video will work and we'll get a little demo of that. So we've also got a self volume balancer, which adjusts the volume of the speaker based on how much noise is in the room as well. So if you've got lots of people talking, the noise level in the room raises up, it will automatically increase the volume of the speaker a little bit for you so that the people talking on the far end can still hear you. So some of these technologies are common from our USB speakerphones as well. So they are common through the range. And we've also got Bluetooth. So you compare a phone to the soundbar, and then people that are remotely phoning into a meeting can participate as well. So their call will join into the far end, so they'll get transmitted, and then whatever they say will come out through the speaker in the room as well. So really easy to get other people into the meeting that aren't actually physically there or on an online meeting platform. So that's kind of all of the unique technology that might be relevant for these particular bars. Now, hopefully, when I go to my next slide, it will actually work for me. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of a demo of the face focus beamforming. So YouTube video, let's go. I didn't do my own thing of setting my audio device. I'm going to try and use my CS800 as my speaker. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, there we go, that's better.
Not every business or school can provide dedicated spaces for online meetings that are free of distracting voices or annoying background noise.
So this audio is actually being picked up from the CS800 in this demonstration.
We can change these open spaces from sounding like this
do you think the tagline being seen, be heard, be used of the
The CS series uses a groundbreaking combination of video and audio technologies to make meetings and open spaces a stress-free experience. With users being able to define both the width and depth of the camera's detection area, the CS series can use the positioning data provided from both the camera and microphone to pinpoint participant locations. When we turn this function off, though, we immediately start to hear the voices from nearby meetings.
Okay, the both CS800 and CS500, they are both SoundCap certified and SIM certified, and only CS800 are
You can quickly hear how this sound could make it difficult for listeners to concentrate during remote meetings. Listen again, though, as we turn the function back on. As you can probably tell, there's a dramatic improvement in the sound quality.
Brent, is it okay to join next meeting?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, I see you then.
Okay, thanks a lot. So you may have noticed that because she entered the detection area, her voice was automatically and clearly picked up, even though she was inaudible from just a few steps away. This is because the CS series will only pick up the voices of a person who steps inside the defined area. That means your team members can seamlessly move in and out without interrupting meetings. and makes the CS series the perfect video soundbar to install in any huddle or open space.
So nice little video there from our friends at Yamaha Japan that put together that demonstration so that you can actually hear what the face focus beamforming does. So it's a really interesting technology, but sometimes really difficult to demonstrate. So I wanted to include that video so you sort of get a really good appreciation for what it can do. Similarly, that works if you're standing inside the meeting area and walk outside. It will gradually trail your voice off until you're into silence, and you can stand there and talk all day long and it won't pick you up. As you walk back in, it comes back in through the speaker again. So yeah, really interesting application of the technology there. All right, so moving on to speakerphones. I've covered these products before in a previous training session, but I wanted to go back over them again really quickly just because we have had a price reposition on these. So I think that's probably relevant just to freshen everybody up because they are quite competitively priced now, which is really good. As I said, I think you've got the YVC 200 and 300 in stock that Leon's been ordering. So these are now $269.99. So really competitively priced for a portable built-in lithium battery USB speakerphone. So as you can see, they're suitable for meetings with 1 to 3 people. So really good for individual offices and people working from home. I use one of these on my desk when I'm working from home because I do take a lot of Teams meetings, and it's just brilliant to have it there. The other really great thing with it is that it's Bluetooth built in, so my phone is paired to it. So I do a lot of typing while I'm on the phone as well, so I can just hit the Bluetooth button on the back of the speaker. It will automatically connect to my phone, take over my call, and I can start typing away. So really awesome for office working people that are doing a lot of phone calls and meetings online, but also portable. So it's plugged in, charging all the time off the USB cable. So you can take it out with you on the road, use it in the car. Also acts as a Bluetooth speaker as well. Available in black and white, comes with that little carry case, which is good. So once we get into the bigger one, the YVC 330, so going to $499.99, suitable for smaller meeting rooms or larger offices, so 4 to 6 people in a meeting. This has our SoundCap technology, so similar to the way the SoundCap I works. It doesn't have a camera, obviously, but it restricts your pickup area to remove background noise. So it comes down to about 1.5 meters, so people that are sitting around the unit get picked up, whereas people outside don't get picked up. So again, really good for open spaces if you're having a meeting in the middle of an office. Offices these days tend to get built open plan a lot, and these devices are really good for taking meetings in those areas. So all the same kind of thing, USB powered, Bluetooth as well, so you can have your phone calls included, and analog video on this one as well. So you can actually link 2 of these units together. There's dedicated link ports on them, and we do have a cable that links them together. So if you're in a boardroom where it's a bit of a bigger space, so maybe you've got a 6 meter space to cover, you can put one at either end of a table and you're covered that way. You only need to connect one of them into your computer as well. So this has got the far field noise rejection. So again, similar to that demonstration we saw, people outside the meeting zone don't get picked up, and it uses the microphone array in it to detect who's talking versus what's background noise. The self-silence function again, and the self-volume balance. So as I said before, some of those features that we've got in the CS products are actually carried over from the YVC products, so that you can get the best and easiest meeting sort of style possible. YVC 1000, so that's the biggest unit in the USB speakerphone, so $15.99. Suitable for 8 to 40 people, so it comes with the base station, which is all your connections, and then the satellite microphone. You can have up to 5 microphones connected to them. So if you're doing a 40 people meeting, you'd use the 5 microphones, and then you've got a pickup radius of 3 to 5 meters on each microphone. So if you space them sort of every couple of meters, that's when you start picking up lots of people. The difference with this guy is it does do automatic room tuning, so you can connect external sound systems to it, and to make sure that sound system and the built-in speakers on the base station work in harmony and work well, it will do an automatic room calibration, similar to what the AV receiver products do, where it sends out test tones and listens back to what's happening in the room, and automatically calibrates the speaker and the microphone, so you get the best audio performance on the far end and the near end. So de-reverberation gets optimized, mic gain gets optimized, and playback also gets optimized. So it does all of that on the push of a button, and it's all voice guided, which is really easy to perform. So voice tracking on these guys as well. So because we've got multiple microphones, it uses the voice tracking to pick up which microphone's picking up the most noise or the most speaking noise, and focuses in on that, which is really handy again for cutting out background noise. So just a little bit of a guide of how you might set them up with multiple microphones. So single microphone with a 3 meter pickup area versus all the way up to 5 for a large meeting. So having the base station up the front and then scattering the microphones around on a table. So they're all connected over one standard Ethernet cable, and it's just a daisy chain connection, so in and out. And those additional microphones are $399.99 each. So again, all these products got repriced to make sure they were competitive, and we think that's where they are now, in a really competitive spot. So that's all the YVC speakerphone range. So I just wanted to quickly talk about the ADECIA stuff, and in particular the wireless. So this is our newest range to the ADECIA. So this is our premium range of products. So they are priced as accordingly. So we've got a wireless access point, WAP. So 8 channel and 16 channel. I've got the 8 channel guy here. So quite a small little box, just mounts on a wall, PoE powered with Dante audio. So single Cat5 cable, Cat6 cable into the back for power and for audio. So you can have up to 8 microphones or 16 microphones paired to them, depending on which unit you buy, and all the DSP for the microphones. So your automatic gain control, de-reverberation, all of that stuff is handled within the WAP. So we then have our charging dock, which we've got here. So this will take 8 microphones, and it's configured in a way that with the 4 different microphone styles that we have, they don't impede on each other no matter where you put them. So you can always fill all 8 spots on the charging dock. So the charging dock also will allow you to do bulk pairing of the microphones and bulk firmware updates as well. So it's a really simple system. It's a really well thought out system in terms of making the system work really simply without having too much nitty gritty knowledge about everything. So you don't have to pair 16 microphones one at a time. You can pair them all in bulk with the charging dock. So as I mentioned, 4 microphone styles. You've got a gooseneck microphone, so you've got a 30 centimeter or a 15 centimeter microphone, 20-hour battery life in usage with a mute button and a mute indicator. There is a USB-C on it as well, so you can charge it separately. So if you are in a 24-hour meeting or someone forgets to put it back on the charging dock, you can actually plug it into a USB-C power source and it will charge while you're using it. So $10.99 on the gooseneck microphones. And then we've got the little pucks. So we've got a directional microphone and an omnidirectional microphone. So omnidirectional, you can tell it's got 4 mute buttons around it, and it's this guy here. The directional microphone just has the 1 mute button, which is the direction that it faces for the pickup. So again, all of these units, 20-hour battery life with that USB-C port, so you can charge them externally, and everything in here operates on that DECT 1.9 gigahertz band. So if you've been around the industry for long enough, you might remember your old cordless telephones working on DECT. It's the same technology. So the idea behind DECT was it's a really energy efficient wireless communication protocol for voice. So it makes sense to use it for this type of product. And that's why we can get such good battery life out of relatively small devices with small batteries, because it's using a really efficient protocol in that DECT. Talking about batteries, you can actually get replacement batteries as well. So easily removable replacement batteries. So if you do want a fleet of spare batteries that you can have charged up in case you do get flat batteries, or you use them so often that the batteries run out of charge cycles, you can easily replace them. You're not up for a whole new microphone or anything like that with built-in batteries. So yeah, really good to have a spare battery option as well. So all of these products work in conjunction with our conference processor, so the RMCR. So this is your connection back to your PC, your USB audio. It does have some other connections on it. So again, PoE powered, just like the WAP is, can do up to 16 channels of audio as well. So a single 16 channel WAP and a single RMCR will do the whole meeting space for you, and it's all simply guided through a web setup GUI. So if anyone was here at the previous one I did about ADECIA, we did a walkthrough of the web setup app, which is basically just a 5-step wizard. There's a little couple of extra steps when we're using the wireless. It will do a wireless environment scan for you. It will find available channels, so you know how many microphones you can use within that space. So yeah, all really simple to follow. It's designed for, you know, IT professionals and people that don't necessarily have in-depth audio processing knowledge to use and deploy, so they're really easy to set up and use. And with that, we've also got Dante PoE powered speakers as well. So you sort of got the full package of products that you can use that all, again, are just that single cable connection, or with Dante audio to make it as easy as possible to set up. And when you go through that setup wizard on the RMCR, it will detect, pair and patch the speakers for you. So the most difficult decision you have to make is which one's the left speaker and which one's the right speaker. So you can identify the speaker in the software, a little light will flash on it, and you can say that's on the left or the right side, and you're done. So you don't have to do anything more than that. Everything else is automatically detected. And of course, we also do the PoE switch that can power it all as well. So there's nothing special about you know, units powered over PoE. The difference with our switches is they're already optimized for Dante audio traffic. So you don't have to worry about setting up your QoS queues or anything like that. It's all already magically set up for you. And of course, they're PoE plus, so they can supply the power needed for all these devices to run efficiently. So as an idea, that might be a typical kind of setup for a wireless system. So you've got a WAP, a charging dock, 4 directional microphones, 1 gooseneck for the boss, the processor, a switch, and a couple of speakers. And that's running you at retail around about $20,000. So again, this is a premium option for conferencing solutions, but it's where mission critical stuff needs to happen. So if you've got high-end boardrooms and conferencing, which is really important, this is the type of gear that we use, because making sure the message gets across to the other end is the most important part of why they're having meetings and having conferences in the first place. So in saying that, do we have any questions?
With the battery life,
Yep.
because we have some people who like to keep things plugged in at all times.
Yep.
Will that damage the battery?
No. So they're designed to sit on this dock all the time, and when you pull them off, they go into activated mode, but they're in standby when they're like that. And because it is a smart charging dock, it knows not to just keep pounding the battery with voltage. So yeah, they are designed just to sit there. So it's not only a convenient way to charge them, but it's also a home for them to go to. And you might have noticed, and I encourage people to come and play with it, these are magnetic as well, so you sort of get them near it and it sucks it in. So they are really designed to sit there and live. So you know, that might be at the front of the room and they get deployed when the meeting starts. So yeah.
So what if someone hooks it up via USB cable instead?
Yep, so the charging circuit's in the microphone, yeah. So, because you don't need the charging dock, that is optional. I just think it's a no-brainer because it's so convenient, because it does all the pairing and firmware updates and things for you while they're docked.
Storage area.
Yeah, correct, yeah. So it's a no-brainer really to me to have it there, but yeah. Whether you charge USB or off the dock, it'll work the same way. Yep.
The line arrays, Mark,
Yes.
are they, so it's only go left and right,
Yep.
vertically of the screen or whatever. But yeah, how big are they?
They're just over 1 metre tall, so they're quite,
Okay.
yeah, they've got quite a bit of size on them. But you know, if you put them on a wall next to a big panel, they sort of look reasonable. Yeah, that's kind of the idea behind them. Okay. So they're designed to go on the wall next to a 55 or 60-inch TV, something like that.
But there's the one size.
Yeah, yeah. In that PoE, there is just the one size. Yep. So we do have those speakers in a passive version, so you can still run them with a traditional amplifier. The processor does have an analog audio output, so you can actually run them with anything. You don't have to use the PoE speakers, and it will still auto-calibrate and optimize those speakers for you. It's just the PoE's that single cable, nice and easy, don't have to worry about it kind of thing. Yeah. Yep. Anything else? No? No questions about the video soundbars? I covered those first, so you might have forgotten. Yeah, here we go.
So it's more with your microphone being forming one.
Yeah.
The vibration of the speaker. Is
Yep.
there any like noise bleed into it?
Yeah, so it's obviously aware of the sound that's coming back out of it.
Yep.
Because, so there's a process called AEC, so acoustic echo cancellation. The unit is aware of the signal it's about to reproduce. So if the microphones picks that up, it knows that that's actually coming from the speaker and it cancels it out. So that process gets used, and they are actually also spaced. So the microphone, in this version, the microphone's on one side, the speaker's on the other as well, so they're separated. Where on this guy, it's sort of all in the one package because it keeps it nice and compact. On this one, yeah, microphone and then speaker, so they are actually separated physically. Yeah. Cool, good question. Anyone else? No, I've wowed you with knowledge.
Thank you very much.
Cool, all right. No, thank you guys. Awesome, cheers.